Hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Warships Blitz with Terry. Today we are looking at the USS Delaware, which is, once again, a hybrid carrier. And this is the Tier 9. Like I mentioned in the last video, these US hybrid carriers did not exist. Now, what's interesting is that if you look at the USS Illinois, the BB-65, which was supposed to be a work towards the Montana class, but ended up becoming an Iowa class hull. She was actually at some point during her construction considered for carrier conversion, but we're talking not hybrid battleship, but full-on carrier conversion, because hybrid battleships, Americans were not particularly fond of the idea, saying that basically the flight deck is way too short to make anything happen, which is quite ironic, because if we're looking at that thing, how on earth is anyone going to take off from this? Now, we can sort of see, and what I believe might be an elevator in the rear here, but we definitely have that weird side elevator still. What we're not actually seeing are any cranes for fishing the planes out of the water again, because practically it would have been very difficult to land a plane on a flight deck this short. I mean, you could probably do something with, I don't know, some emergency netting or arrestor hooks and similar, but this is an extremely short flight deck, so I'm not so sure about that one. But for very obvious reasons, this has been done for game purposes, because unlike the Tier 8 hybrid battle carrier, this thing's got a turret in the rear. And then obviously you needed to leave some space for it, but probably figured the Iowas are long enough that we can stick a turret on the rear. But the same problem remains, that you've got this massive superstructure bit in the middle, which is probably relatively prone to citadels. So armor is going to get interesting. Anyway, let's see, after the relatively uneventful Tier 8, in my opinion, how the Delaware compares to the Iowa. We're seeing the same thing. We've got 2 rapid reloads instead of 3. And we've got a bit more hit points, although the difference isn't that large than it was in Tier 8. And yes, the armor is still completely and utterly terrible. Again, no one's gonna accuse an Iowa of being particularly well armored, but this is like super cruiser territory at this point that we're dealing with here. We're still seeing the slightly improved speed and maneuverability. And we are having the same guns, just in a slightly different layout, and obviously with a twin turret in the rear rather than a triple. So we've got 8 guns, which is better than 6, but we're losing the 1 second extra reload time. They do a bit more damage, but other than that, these are very, very good guns. These are basically the Iowa's guns, and they hit really, really hard if you can get things on target. And I'm more than happy to have an extra turret of these. Secondaries are identical. And yes, the Iowa obviously does not have any planes. The AA is very good. And the main reason the AA is very good is because of the small caliber AA range. 3 kilometer base range. That's like Des Moines territory, honestly. So yes, the alpha damage is only a little bit better, but holy heck, that thing's going to start shooting down planes. Now, if she had a defensive AA, it would be an absolute monster. But she sort of has and sort of doesn't. Let's compare her to the Essex. The Essex obviously has no ship skills, but the Essex obviously has air groups that we can compare. So instead of the instead of the 2 4 plane squadrons that we have on the Essex, we get 2 3-plane squadrons with again the same sort of different setup, with a smaller 250 kilo bombs instead of the single 500 kilo bomb. I'm guessing here that's not what that is, but they have the same hit points, and the damage and fire chance are effectively halved. But you also get smaller wings, so that's a bit of an issue, because for one reason, because my understanding of how AA works is that each plane gets equally damaged until you start shooting them down. So you're going to be doing a bit of you're going to have to do a lot of damage to a squadron before you're really starting to kill planes. And if I'm talking nonsense here and someone's out a carrier player, then please correct me on that in the comments. But I find that a very small air wing like this gets shot down very, very easily, which leaves you with two choices. It leaves you with either the choice of sending the wings out simultaneously in order to spread the AA damage out a little bit, or like on a Soviet carrier, but then you forego the set fire, trigger Damacon, set permafires kind of opportunity. Anyway, we also have fighters. And the fighters on the Delaware are distinctly worse than the fighters on the Essex. But we have some. And this is what I meant with we have some form of defensive AA, because, I mean, the fighters are terrible. There's no two ways about it. It's a 3-squadron flight of fighters, and they're taking a long time to reload. You only got 6 of them. So if you get one shot down, you've got another one spare, and then that's it. So what you can do is, if you are coming under concentrated air attack, then you can use these fighters to protect yourself. Together with a 3-kilometer small caliber AA, that makes you a swimming no-fly zone pretty much. So in that regard, it's not a terrible thing. So I find it quite hilarious that the Delaware has a significantly better AA than the Essex itself. Anyhow, how have we set this ship up? You get the same choices again here, and you could almost argue that now with actually 2 types of planes, this would start making a bit more sense. I still wouldn't use it, because you just don't have enough planes, and they get shot down pretty easily. And in the end, I tend to run out of planes pretty much 2/3 in the battle normally. I mean, I am not what anybody would call, at least not sober, a skilled carrier player, but I find like it doesn't make a massive difference. I'd rather have the 4% range. So we're doing the same thing again like I did last time. We are going with the artillery plotting room, but here I have actually used the concealment instead of the rudder shift. Why is that? Well, because this is tier 9, and the tier 9 meta is very, very, very different from the tier 8 meta, because in tier 8 you very rarely get faced with 457, 460 millimeter caliber or 18-inch shells. In tier 9, that is a very different story altogether. Can you imagine what a Vermont is doing to one of these things, or Slava? I mean, Slava doesn't have the high caliber, but sheesh, yes. So being not spotted and staying at long range, also to get my rear turret to work, is sort of the name of the game, at least for me so far, with what I've been testing. Now again, we've done the exact same thing. I've done one game with a regular commander, and I've done one with Halsey. And it's the exact same commander setup like last time, but camo, again, still same thing. If you can get yourself the Stormy Sky camo, it's probably the better choice because it gives you a bit more bomb damage, but honestly, it's not making a massive difference. So either of them is fine. The critical bits here are the 4% firing range, and the dispersion is nice as well, although it's still not great on these ships. But these are Iowa guns. They're super heavy shells. They hit really, really hard when they hit. And I still got the exact same setup with Halsey. I'm compensating for an additional rapid reload, and I've got the master reloader skill, and I am using the make my planes come back faster skill, as well as the dogfight specialist, although I think fully prepared in retrospect probably would have been the better option, because the fighters are really not that great. And if you're facing carriers at this tier, they're just going to murder your fighters. If you're in a battle without carriers, it doesn't matter. So I think in retrospect, it's probably not worth taking it. Anyhow, so I once again have 2 games for you. One game in a regular tech tree setup sort of thing, and one game with the premium consumables, historical camo, and with Halsey on board. So let's see if the tier 9 is any better than tier 8 and any more of a threat or a game changer or, you know, making things very, very different. The first round is quite interesting because first of all, we are bottom tier, but and it's a carrier battle. So we are facing a Manfred von Richthofen, a Preußen, a Minnesota, Riga, and an enemy Holland, which obviously is going to rub his hands with glee about the amount of planes that he gets to shoot down. And we do have a Malta on our side. So off we go. Encounter, everybody's favorite map. Hopefully a little less frequent, because I think they were adding a new map with 6.5. So not sure I've seen it yet. I haven't been paying attention. Either way, encounter. One thing you can do with this setup, and that's for me, that's a fascinating capability, sort of. Even if the friendly carrier is a bit of a derp, you can actually use your planes to scout the enemy carrier, and you have the range of doing something about him. So you can, if you can manage to spot the enemy carrier with your planes very early on, start making his life very, very unpleasant. But yeah, now we're sending the fighters out in one dive bomber wing. Haven't seen any planes yet from the enemy carrier, so I'm just see if I can get something to scout here. There's the Manfred von Richthofen. I mean, that thing's got terrifying AA. But I'm just gonna send the dive bombers in against that thing. We'll position the fighters, and I'm almost in range actually at this point. And we've set a fire. There is a bot Baltimore that needs to get out of the way, but I am almost in range of the MVR if I can push down this flank here. And so far it looks like the enemy team isn't really doing an awful lot of defending it. So second wing is coming in, and it looks like the MVR is up. There's another fire. I'm not sure if he's letting that tick. Yes, he's letting that tick. So we are ticking up the fire damage here. There comes some Holland torpedoes. That is a bot Yamato, but I am almost in range. And I mean, we're not even 2 minutes into the battle. I'm almost in range of that Manfred von Richthofen. I've still got the fighters up to spot him when I need to. And I think the MVR is AFK, to be honest, because I haven't seen any planes out from that ship. I'm not sure what he's doing, but he might have gone AFK. So let's unload at that unlucky bot Yamato. There he is. Okay. Dive bombers not yet, almost ready. I might drop one on the bot just to deal with that, so I can actually focus my guns on the Manfred von Richthofen in a second once we've got that thing out of the way. That's a fire, that's a citadel, and that should be the end of it. Now Holland is paying attention, but the MVR is spotted. So what are we going to drop next with the dive bombers? Preußen is a good target. And because the friendly carrier is having torpedo bombers in the air as well. I'm not sure if the Holland is coming from... That Manfred von Richthofen isn't AFK. I'm not sure what he's doing. He hasn't launched any planes at all. He is moving, but he's very much in range. So, yeah, don't mind if I do. And as you can see, these guns are a heck of a lot better than the guns on the tier 8. So I have loaded the HE. The MVR doesn't seem to be a huge threat because he doesn't seem to be launching any planes. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but I'm going to try and deal with the Holland first then, because that thing obviously is dangerous. Now Holland is an AA destroyer, so sending my planes in. I'm going to send my fighters in to distract the AA, while give the AA. I think I've been a little bit early. To get the AA to shoot at something else, to give the dive bombers a fighting chance of getting in there before they're being shot down. I have no hope that anything gets, and they've all missed. Yeah. So this is the problem with these dive bombers. They are just really not great. But we're now pushing the Holland back, and now the Manfred von Richthofen is actually sending out planes. Now he's gotten himself into a corner, potentially focused on surviving this then. But here come the MVR planes. So. Once we have the fighters ready again, then I can actually do something about it. That Yamato is coming under massive attack, obviously. And I would love to get myself under there with that AA, with that monster AA. The problem is obviously there's a bot in the way, but I can send some fighters out to help the Yamato, and we'll keep the. We'll see if we can finish off the Riga. That would be good. And we might have to keep pushing. Not sure what my team's doing. Our cup is under threat. The friendly Malta is already running. So we will position the fighters to help out with AA duty, and I think the Riga might be going down. So assuming that the Malta is going after the Minnesota, I'm sending the other dive bomber wing over to the Minnesota. And the Riga is still alive. I know that there's a Holland. But how are we on points? We're ahead on points, and I'm good on hit points. The Holland is not going to have an easy time taking me down. Yeah, especially that he's not focusing on me. There's a low health poison, so let's deal with that thing then. And I want to get myself in between the friendly ships and the Manfred von Richthofen as well, because carrier is actually focusing the poison. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's not a terrible choice. I would have thought he was going to go after the Minnesota, but I want to get myself under these planes and dodging the poison shells, and we'll see if we can make something do with the friendly fighters. But I'm gonna go for the cap now, and it's 1:50, so I think they're not gonna have time to counter cap, but I'm not taking any chances here. There comes some Holland torpedoes. That's okay. We'll finish off the poison at some point. And now everything brawls once. But obviously poison is a relatively sturdy ship, so you do have to be somewhat more careful. But I think we have the numerical superiority at this point. And there's still the Holland out there. Now, if he is going to get some perma-flood and perma-fires with the poison shots coming in together, then this would be a bit of a problem. But I have a single bomber left, so I'm going to send that over to the poison. I don't have any hopes that it gets through, but may as well. Friendly carrier is still there. Maybe it draws a bit of flak. That's all I'm really hoping for. Carrier is dropping the poison, and he should be able to get him. Come on, really? Okay, yeah. Malta gets the poison. Well done. And I'm just dealing with planes as the MVR comes back in, and now it's just a matter of shooting at the Holland. But yeah, the AA on this ship is pretty devastating, and I think the Manfred von Richthofen is the only ship left on the enemy team at this point. So we can just collect a bit more air wings to shoot down. I don't have any more planes left, so I've got three fighters. No, I don't have any more fighters left either. Anyway, it's fine. I know he's over there, but we'll have it capped out before things are done. And that's sort of that was sort of a good mix of what you can do with the ship. So you're a floating anti-aircraft platform. How many planes have we shot down? Let's see. I mean, this is an MVR that hasn't launched planes until half the battle was in. So if he had launched the planes early, that might have been a different story. But came second in the team, clear skies, and we've done 90,000 points of damage, which is nothing to sneeze at, really. Let's see how that compares. 3 Citadel, 70 with the guns, and 17 with the bombs, which is not massive, but we've shot a fair amount of planes down, and I think we've done good. Which brings us to the second round. This time fully upgraded, obviously, and again it's a tier 10 game, because, matchmaking. We are facing Yamato, Freddy, Iowa, Gibraltar, Johan de Witt, and another Holland. No carrier this time, so once again the Holland can get some planes shot down if he gets to it. And we're playing base capture on Hourglass, which I like. So given that I am bottom tier, a relatively squishy large target, I am going to position myself in an artillery position. And this is where the range build comes in, really. Because, I mean, yes, you could try to focus on the planes, but honestly, I don't feel like the planes are the powerful item on these ships. The planes are good for scouting and maybe for doing a bit of damage on the side if you can get lucky with the fires. But anything with even a reasonable AA is just going to shoot them down. So again, I'm the only carrier in the game, which means the fighters are completely useless to me. So I can just go and scout the flank and see if I can find myself something to drop bombs on. Obviously, if there are bots in the game, triggering permafires on the bots is good to give you an early leg up. And if they're bot battleships, then obviously that helps as well. So that's not a bot. Ibuki is a cruiser. Nah, we'll just drop the Iowa then. It's got nothing else to... If I overfly an Iowa, they never come back anyway. 2 bomb hits, no fires. You see, that's the and I don't think they're going to come back, honestly. They're going to be shredded by the Iowa's AA. So that's sort of the problem with them. You have to be, it's very RNG dependent. But with the range build on the guns, I can absolutely make myself useful from over here. So what we've got one of our fighters left. Do we need to spot any? This is the Holland over there. Don't really need to spot anything. So we'll just fly them around in the countryside. Iowa, hello. I see you have a broadside over there. Now I was hoping to get undetected behind this little ledge here, but I think I'm probably just too tall. Yep. you don't broadside those guns, my friend. You should know better. You've got the same guns. That's gonna hurt. I mean, he's returning the favor. But let's see. Yeah, he's hitting my forward belt instead of the squishy deck in the rear. So yeah, that's a gunfight you probably don't want to take. David or Iowa. Botibuki needs to die. May as well do it just to get my team to focus on the things that matter. And I've got the dive bombers ready again. What can we drop? Holland, bad choice. Freddy would be good, but that means I'm overflying everything and I just shoot him down. And we'll just drop the Gibraltar then. He's the biggest threat for our friendly destroyer. So let's just do that. And he is flooding. Is he Damaconing the flood? That would be good if he did. But maybe his Damacon's on cooldown and that's a perma-flood. So in that case, let's just send more dive bombers and see if we can burn him down. And that's one bomb hit, no fire. Second wing coming in. Obviously the dive bombers are all dead because there's also Johan de Witt. That's what I mean. These planes are not that useful because if the enemy team plays a bit defensively, then there's not an awful lot gonna happen. 3 bomb hits, no fires, and all the planes have been shot down. So yeah, there's that. But we've got an Iowa that we can rapidly disassemble. And the Johan de Witt is actually starting to send planes my way as well, while being bow in, as he should be. But the Iowa honestly is the biggest threat here right now with his guns, and he still hasn't learned to aim at my flight deck. I've got some fighters, but well, I don't really have a use for them right now, other than distracting AA. And my dive bombers are not yet ready, so we'll just back off a little bit and see if we can drop another load on the Iowa. My friendly destroyer has retreated, but I've lost one of my gun turrets. It's very unfortunate. Yeah, that was a bad salvo. Okay, we'll try again on the Gibraltar. See if we can, because we got a good synergy with the Östergötland, who is now not taking fire because I'm taking all the fire. But here you see how rapidly, even if it's just something like a Gibraltar shooting at you, you are losing your hit points. Okay, that's a triple fire. He's going to Damacon, yes. Okay, Östergötland, you are up. I'm sending the next wing in to try and get permafires going. And then we will see how that goes. That's the Johan de Witt HE spamming me. That's the Gibraltar's guns. And unfortunately, the Iowa is still alive. Let's see if we can do something about that. Come on. I don't want to use my Damacon. No one shoot because of the Johan de Witt, basically. Ah, really? Okay, he is. I'm just going to try and out-heal that as much as possible. How are we? We are ahead on points. And okay, I'm going to Damacon that fire because I am relatively low at this point on hit points. And the Johan de Witt is pushing, so I'm going to need my guns back as well. And the Östergötland has taken out the Gibraltar. Well done. That leaves the Johan de Witt. And that means we just have to take that thing out while still drawing the attraction of his airstrike. Now, to be fair, nobody knows what these ships are capable of at this point. So nobody knows how much AA these things have. And I mean, I've shot 9 planes down. These were all Johan de Witt airstrike planes. I don't have any more planes left, but that's fine. I've got guns, and I'm not afraid to use them. So Johan de Witt cannot angle against both. He's in a crossfire, and that almost was a dead Johan de Witt. A little Citadel would have done the trick. I'm down to 13,000 hit points, but that's fine. I think I deserve this one, unless the Östergötland gets him before me. Let's see, because I've been taking all the airstrikes. So let's see if we can get the kill. We can get the kill. We're taking the last airstrikes in. And I am actually circling my fighters overhead as well at this point, just for additional AA. I'm completely out of dive bombers, but there is a Yamato over there that I might be just in range. So while we are observing the frankly hilarious dispersion on these things, this is a good ship. This thing is a seriously good ship. I am very much enjoying the long range artillery setup in combination with some opportunities of actually setting fires and making use of fires and permafires at this point. The planes are still pretty meh. I wouldn't go up against a carrier, and you mostly don't survive if you drop into any kind of AA. But they're good for scouting, and they give you something to do while you're reloading the guns. But the guns really is where the fun is, and with the range setup from long range, you can make yourself very, very useful. And I like this ship. I enjoy this ship. It's sort of a back row artillery combo with escort carrier gameplay thing. You do have to manage your HP very much, because that's the only way you can survive. Do not ever rush forward in these ships, because they can't take it. Absolutely not. But stay back, send your planes out, scout, find yourself something to shoot at your longest range, and just make use of, put these guns to good use. And in that, I think this is a good ship. Are we going to see a nerf on it? I don't know. I think we'll find out. But still, I think if you are... so look, at tier 8, I would have said, don't be too afraid of them. No, I'm just thinking, with this thing out, if you get 3 of those on each team once the lines come out, that's going to become a little bit of a problem. So I think the early days when these lines are going live, things are going to get quite interesting. But then I see two kinds of players playing this ship. The battleship players, who don't understand how to use, like me, who don't understand how to use airstrikes effectively, and who in the end just play like a battleship, but then have to deal with the absolute lack of armor. And the carrier players, who are probably the more dangerous of the bunch, to be honest, but because they're used to playing from long range, and it's much easier to pick up the battleship play from long range than the carrier play if you're a regular surface capital ship player. So might get interesting. I am definitely going to be getting my Seattle ready for tier 9 gameplay in the future, or my Groningen, or anything else that has AA. And to all my cruiser players out there, if you've got the defensive AA and you've got an AA ship, can you please not farm battleships, but just do your duty and shoot planes down? That's what I'm asking. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thanks, everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.